You're probably wondering why I'm so low key tonight. Usually I go off the rails a little bit faster. I'm actually under some Benadryl. I had to take Benadryl. I had a little bit of a reaction. My wife made some kind of chicken shit. She was mixing kinds of stuff. She got that fucking TikTok. I'm telling you, I've wasted so much money at the grocery store because of TikTok. This woman watches TikTok, and every recipe that comes out, my house has got to make it, and she's got to ask me all the time, "Taste this, taste this." If she put something in there tonight, it caused me almost to not be able to do this. Kept coughing and coughing and coughing. So I had to take Benadryl. And I'm a little relaxed, almost to the point where I want to take a nap again. But I already took my 2 naps today. So that's our rabbit trail for this one. But you don't want to go into your trading constantly pursuing right. And you know already, most of you, doing that isn't getting you where you want to be. But you're wrestling, arm wrestling with the results of you trying to do that. You think, well, if I just do a little bit harder, I'll get through that because this is how trading is. No, that's how gambling is. Look at the people. If you had the opportunity, go to a casino. When I had my first year anniversary, we went to Atlantic City and we stayed at the Taj Mahal. And I literally only took $100 down to the casino. That's it. Because number one, it was my first time at the casino. I've never gambled like that. And I said, in the event that I would take more money than I should, and if I win, I'm afraid that I'm gonna get compulsive about that and say I'm gonna try to do it again and do it with more and more and more. So I purposely left all credit card, all debit card. I don't even use a debit card, but I'm just telling you there was no means for me to take any money out of my bank accounts. It's just this is what I brought, and other cash was for eating and whatever. And I sat at that one armed bandit slot machine, and every time I would get down to the last $10, I just want to lose it because I don't want to have to do this anymore. And I didn't want to do what? Get up and walk away. The analyst in me was saying, "This is a waste of time. You're not going to make any money, and you're already just wanting to leave, but you're not wanting to get up because retail Rick is pulling the slot machine." But what happens if I get a jackpot? What happens if I win $2,000? The maximum thing I could have won on this was $2,000. And I would make it a little bit up to 75, 65, just under $80, getting back to the $100 that I put in the machine. And then all of a sudden, it would be spent down to the last $10, $12. And I'm like, okay, it won't be much longer now. And then I won't have it. I ain't got to worry about doing this. I can go watch the shows with my wife or whatever. And I'd win a little bit more, but it would be like to be $50 or $40. And then the gambler in me said, "Oh, I'm probably real close to one of those big wins. Let me just keep playing." And I sat down there for almost 7 fucking hours with the same $100. Couldn't make it go away, and I couldn't freaking make any money above $100. I never got it over $100. So I'm thinking to myself, this is stupid. Like, what the hell am I doing? So finally, I just did the maximum bets that it would allow me to do, and then boom, it's gone. And I was relieved that that $100 was spent like that because I was like, okay, now I don't have it. I won't be enticed to do what? Do another run of that and get caught up in that whole pursuit of being right. That's how I learned this. The whole discussion tonight was that moment in 2022. I'm sorry, 2002 is when we went to Atlanta City. We got married Valentine's Day of 2001. And then a year later, we were in Atlantic City celebrating it there, which was weird because I've never been to a casino, and that's where she said she wanted to go. So whatever. But this whole idea of removing myself from that, I applied that experience to the trading. When I start feeling like I'm listening to the wrong voice in my conscience that's telling me to be acting on impulsiveness, what if, see, the analyst isn't going to do, okay, um, what if you make more money than we thought? Or what if this is a trade that we hold on for a longer time? The analyst never is never doing that. The analyst is going to speak through your conscience to you and say, this is the rules, bub. This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is all you're supposed to be doing. And when you step out of line, I'm going to remind you because it's going to feel like uncomfortableness. And that's not just fear of making money or losing money. That sometimes is the analyst that's been increasing in its understanding about what it is that you're doing and the marketplace. Don't cancel that out. Don't arm wrestle that, because it's sometimes the experienced analyst that you trained up to this point in your development, and it's going to be communicating to you through your conscience by saying, this is not what we should be doing. We should be doing this. And then what you're doing sometimes is you're allowing retail Rick, the gambler in you, and the trader to argue with one another, ignoring the analyst, which is the sound advice that you should be following. So how do you deal with that? Your plan needs to be written out. When I take a trade, I have a notepad next to me. I'm literally writing down target, partial, stop won't move until it gets to this price. That's it. So if I see something, some little flurry of price action comes in, boom, if it doesn't break the rules that I have written down for my idea, I'm not moving my stop. I'm not panicking. But it might cause a concern for me to feel like the analyst is saying, okay, we now are in troubled waters. What's the process? Half off. Don't move the stop anymore. Or if it's not moved to better the break even, move the better to break even, and then let it go. Submit to whatever happens. And that's how you condition yourself to not just run like a cat with its tail between its legs, fearful, because that's what would be the outcome. You don't want to just run away from any trade. At some point, you have to press into it. But it's easier to press into that trade that's uncertain now when you've taken half off. You've made money. You had a part-time job in that trade and you made money. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And any fucker out there that tells you there is, they're not showing you anything, but they're telling you this is the advice that you should follow. Their shit. And they don't do anything to garner your respect or belief that what they're saying is sound logic. You don't see them signing into an account, going through day by day. This is what I made. This is what I lost. You don't see that, but they're highly opinionated. Who are you listening to? Are you listening to somebody that's going out there live on Twitter or in live streams and calling every fucking candle movement before it happens? Or are you listening to somebody that brings nothing but more confusion? If you're doing that, that's the same thing that you're going to experience in your trades. You're going to wrestle internally. It's going to be like chaff. You won't be able to focus. You'll feel like you have attention deficit disorder when you really don't. You're just placing too much stress because you're over leveraging. You're demanding being right. Easiest solutions. Cut half the trade off. You'll fix the over leveraging right there. You've funded yourself. You paid for that time in the trade. Your stop's better than even. And now you can submit to the outcome. I'm in a trade, ICT. I got this shit figured out. I'm in here. I got 5 contracts. I'm long S&P. I'm looking for a 20 handle run. Around 12 handles in. Whew, what are we doing here? Anybody got any ideas? What do you think? You think it's going to go up? Let's do a poll. As soon as you feel that, half off. But I got 5 contracts. Take 3 off. Why not 2? Take 3 off. Shut the fuck up. Take 3 off. You've banked 3. Let the 2 run. If it goes to stop, it's okay. If it goes to target, great. Next trade. You got to wrestle yourself into submission to the model. Otherwise, the market and your weaknesses will wrestle you into submission to failure. You won't see it coming. Nobody ever sees it coming until it's done. And you're like, man, I knew at that moment, right? You'll know exactly what it was. And you'll know and you'll admit to yourself, that was the moment I should have did this or that. Damn it, why did I do that? Now I got to do a funded account reset. Now I got to go put more money in the account. And it will repeat all the time until you do the things I'm telling you to do here. You're trying to graduate to a state of mind that when you go into the marketplace, you are at the state of mind that is when being right is no longer enough. You now are detail oriented. You're principle oriented. You're following logic. You want precision. Right is not enough. Your pursuit now is you want to control risk so impeccably that your winners are going to so far outpace your losing trades, it won't matter. It won't matter. The next trade that you lose on, it won't even have any impact at all on you. None, zero. People might talk about it in passing. Oh, yeah, you got to let your profits run, trade your plan your trade. This all sounds great. But how do they engage? Do they trade recklessly? Are you trading recklessly? Are you throwing everything out the window because now you have a funded account or a live account? The things that you were doing in your demo that were consistent, the only thing that's changing when you go into live funds, because it's still live data you're trading off of, the only thing that's changed is now you have potential reward and potential loss. And you have to grow into accepting that. And it's not easy. For some of you, it's going to be next to impossible, but you have to graduate into it slowly. Whatever the least amount of money you can put in on a trade, that lot size, that's what you trade until you're absolutely bored. And then you go up one more contract, trade like that until you're absolutely bored. And you do it again and keep doing it again and again until you can get to the point where, oh, wow, I can be in 5 mini contracts making $250 per handle. All I got to do is get 4 handles and it's $1,000. And you'll see that making $1,000 a day doing that is easy. But it's hard for you right now because you're going to feel what? As soon as you put a trade on with 5 contracts, you're thinking, shit, my ass is puckering. What is going on? I don't know if I'm supposed to hold this or get out. It's moved 2 ticks. Shit, it just moved 2 ticks. What am I going to do? 2 ticks. Am I long or short? What the hell am I doing here? Did I put the stop on right? You're going to be thinking about all kinds of shit. You're going to feel completely like a noob. What's changed? Potential reward and potential profit is the greed. Potential loss, potential debit to your account. That's your potential wreckage. Now, instead of saying, okay, is price confirming that it's continuously moving in my favor? And is order flow still on my favor in my own side? That's where your attention is. You're not looking at the profit and loss little button on your screen. How much money went up and down, up and down. You do that, you're done. I just do that to show you eye candy to hold your attention in the early stages. You don't need to see that once you understand what you're doing because you can clearly see, okay, it's moved in your favor. Do the math. How many contracts could you have been there? And there it is. In the beginning, new traders, new students, they need to be entertained. There's got to be a hook in their mouth that draw them this direction. And I'm a master at that. Good songs, maybe not every song, because I'm sure some of you would have heard songs that I put in my videos where like, what the hell was he thinking putting this in there? It's not for you, it's for me. But I know how to draw a crowd. And once that crowd's there, I know how to teach you. But I also am aware that some of you are not teachable and you'll walk away before you should. And some of you, I'm glad you did or do because you're not prepared and you're just going to be toxic. But knowing what to do, when to react to it. When we react, okay, I saw this, I can't remember the guy's name. He's a YouTuber. He tweeted, your job as a trader is not to predict the future. It's to react to price. What the fuck kind of logic is that? Like that literally encapsulates retail trading right there. That's it. That's it. That is retail trading in a sentence. What you're saying by saying something like that, or if your thoughts are in alignment with that, what you're essentially saying is there's no way to know where price is likely to go. So fuck it, let's gamble. That's exactly what you're saying. Your job is not to try to predict price. Your job as a trader is to react to price. Get the fuck out of here. Listen, if you don't know where the draw on liquidity is, where the market's likely to be going up or down to, you're clueless. You have no business, zero business pushing a button in that regard. You don't have any business doing any kind of trading because you're literally putting a blindfold on, being spun around 50 times in the dark, stopped. It's okay. Take this tack, walk forward, and pin the donkey. Pin the tail on the donkey game. But you're doing it disoriented, and you're reacting. What are you gonna react to? When your hand hits the wall, okay, push the thumbtack in. Let's see what happens. Bullshit is what happens. These individuals that hold that logic, that's the reason why they struggle. And they have hit and miss results once in a while. And what keeps them in the game? Risk management. They suck at trading. Their trades are just terrible. The logic to get into the trade is lacking. But what keeps them in the game? Money management. But I'm a professional trader. I make my money from trading. Okay. Imagine if you learned how to determine where price is going and you kept everything else the way it is. How much better would you be? I'm interested in seeing that. But you have to know what we're doing is predicting price. We're predicting it. We're time fucking traveling, okay? We're literally moonwalking into the future, gaining insight and coming right back to where we are right then and sitting in front of the charts. What does that mean? It's impossible. Now he's talking out your ass. Okay, well, listen, when you're looking at the charts, you need to be able to see in your mind's eye, can you physically see the price running up to that relative equal high? If you can see it, that's the first step. You have to be able to see that that potentially is in the chart. It could manifest itself. Now, how it finally gravitates to there, does it go in one straight shot or is there two price legs into it, maybe three price legs before it gets there? That's not important. You're submitting to the idea that you are seeing this present price action. It's likely to go up to those relative equal highs where there's buy side liquidity. So you're submitting yourself to what? I'm in a buy program. I'm going to be buying discount arrays. I'm going to be observing price and looking to see if down close candles support price and repel it higher.